Time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hello, and welcome back to I Don't Know What You're Talking About, a podcast where Erin and Garrett is talking about stuff they don't know about. I tried to go more casual.
That's a way better way to describe the podcast. It is what it's been so far.
A podcast where we're talking about stuff we just learned about.
And I like that you said welcome back. Like, we're really showing that we're building that community. And
Oh yeah, we're getting those return listeners for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the numbers. The stats are rolling in. Big things happening. How are you, Erin?
Did we tell them that we had that other podcast idea about Chelsea Peretti?
Oh, we did not. I still think
Because-
this is viable, by the way.
Well, Patreon. So Garrett figured out that that basically you can't see Chelsea Peretti's Instagram, like he's
Well,
blocked.
So the way we discovered this is that we were in an Instagram group chat and somebody shared a post. And I just on my end, I was like, oh, this post is unavailable. Like they must have taken it down or something. And then everybody else was like, nope, I can see it. I can see it too. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, it's a post from Chelsea Peretti, which I'm a big fan of Chelsea Peretti. Like I enjoy her stand-up comedy specials and, her on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and a bunch of different things. Like, yeah, she was on like old Comedy Bang Bang, Comedy Death Ray. And yeah, she's hilarious. So I immediately searched her in Instagram, but if I search Chelsea Peretti, she does not come up,
It's so strange.
which means she has blocked me, and I have zero idea why.
So our podcast idea was that we would have a series of episodes with different guests, and each one needs to come with their theory of why Chelsea Peretti blocked Garrett, and we can discuss it and, dig in. And then on the last episode, we would try to get Chelsea Peretti to join and tell us why she blocked.
Yeah,
Right.
which I feel like she's the type of person who would be down for like a weird one-off
Yeah.
podcast idea.
I think she would. I think if we did it, it would she'd hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I couldn't message her on Instagram about it, but you could.
Yes. I'll let her know.
It's really too bad because I would like to see what I've heard she's doing great things on Instagram.
So many funny theories, Steph.
Is she the level of celebrity where she for sure runs her own Instagram?
I think so.
Where is that line? Like what?
Yeah, that's a good question. I picture that level of comedian running their own. But I could see, like, if you have a personal assistant type person that they help. Like, maybe you still check yours or use it, but they maybe do more of help with, like, your regular posts or
What do you
things
think
like that.
situation is with like a
Or a manager.
like a Brad Pitt Instagram or something like that?
Yeah, I bet he has a person.
Like that's their entire job. It's just the Pitstagram.
Maybe, or like a PR or like communications person that does it.
I could see that.
Social media expert. So I think we should do that as part of the Patreon.
Yeah, I think it'd be really funny to have people on. Like, I have my own theories about it, why it might have happened. It's not because I sent her illicit pictures or something like that. But I'm sure that might be someone's theory.
Yeah, we'll see what she says.
Yeah.
The truth will come out.
I am not scared to have Chelsea Peretti come on and tell the truth.
So we did our first 6 episodes or whatever during the summer, and then we took kind of a break and tried to catch up with ourselves. So the ones that have been coming out are all in the summer, and now it's been Halloween's happened. Yeah, we're into fall now.
Yeah, I know it's been weird us talking about a lot of summery things while our fall episodes are coming out, but we're getting our feet underneath us. We're realizing the flow of this thing.
Yeah, we'll get it.
For sure. Has anything been on your mind recently, Erin?
That crazy show we just watched, the Monsters, Menendez Brothers
Oh, the
show.
Menendez brothers.
Not the documentary. We haven't watched that. The actual show. I think it's called Monsters.
Yeah. No, that was a fun one.
Yeah, I didn't know if I would enjoy it, and I was hesitant to watch it, but the acting was incredible. And
The acting and directing.
Yeah.
Like, it surprised me a few times of being like, wow, this is way more. Because, like, from the surface, it seems very surfacey and, like, you know, not very serious, kind of just like a dramatization thing. But then, yet, certain scenes, I was like, wow, that was done super well.
yeah, like as you go through, I think what was happening is as you go through the episodes, there's like these little snippets in time of these scenes that you watch. And then later you see that scene again, but there's much more like before and after it. So it starts like taking shape in how that was part of their lives. It was really interesting. I don't feel like I've seen a show done like that before.
Yeah, the back and forth of like seeing the scene two different ways was crazy. Because like one time it seemed very bubblegummy and you know what's going on, but then later there's so much backstory, or they show the 10 minutes before that. Also, just some like that one scene where that one dude is talking about his experience while he's in prison, and it starts with the camera in the very back of the room and does the slowest zoom I've ever seen in my life. Where like, I think it's like a 20-minute thing of him talking.
And it's all one
shot.
Yeah.
And it's the slowest zoom. So after like 10 minutes, I'm like, whoa, what is that? We're so much closer than we used to be. Like,
Yeah, we were talking about how that's all one shot, and our friend who's an actor who was at our house who's like a theater actor was like, yeah, you know who else does one shot scenes all the time? It was cracking me up.
people in plays.
Yeah.
It's funny to hear somebody get salty about that. Like,
And
one shots.
he loved that show, so but I thought that was a funny
Yeah.
response.
Shout out to Gab.
The other thing I've been thinking about, just because I like to mention Poog on every episode, which Poog is gone.
I was going to say, is there any Poog news?
R.I.P. Yeah, they got their plug pulled. Is that a saying?
Or Poog plug pulled?
Or Poog plug pulled. But they started their own independent podcast. I haven't listened yet, but I think you have to pay to listen.
What's it called?
It's just their two last names are Novak and Berlant. Yeah.
Not as catchy.
Right. Yeah, Poog's pretty catchy.
Not as catchy as I don't know what you're talking about. Should definitely have like 7 words in the title.
But I mean, I think both of them just describe so many experiences so perfectly. And in an episode I was listening to recently, they were talking about the type of sleep that you have when you're like sitting on the couch watching something and you fall asleep, and how different it is than bed sleep. And I think they described it as velvet feeling.
That's the couch while you're watching
Yeah.
sleep.
And I feel like I fully relate. I like understand that, calling it that.
Why?
I feel like that's what it feels like. Almost like your body and brain are covered in velvet or something. Like it's like they talk about this like almost this like deep fear while it's happening that you're going to have to, like, you know, that whoever you're watching TV with is going to turn off the TV and you're going to have to get up and go to bed. And because it's such this like different, really satisfying sleep that you go into.
See, I feel like I'm with you up until the
satisfying.
Yeah, because like I struggle with that because I'm like, oh no, if I fall asleep, like I'm gonna miss things and somebody's gonna have to wake me up. I just feel like it's more stressful sleep.
Yeah, I think if you can let go of like that you're supposed to be awake, there's something like a better quality to the sleep.
Hat is just like a metaphor for life.
Yeah. So now I keep thinking of it as velvet sleep, and there is that fear, like that it's going to have to end, that someone's going to wake you up. Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's what I've been thinking about.
What? Do you purposely go to sleep while we're watching things?
No, but I have been especially tired lately, so it's been happening a lot lately.
I feel like we've all been tired lately.
Yeah.
Is it the human condition? Is it 2024, or is it just the stage of our lives?
All three.
We've entered the tired year.
Yes, definitely. Full swing tired years. Well, what have you been thinking about?
Oh, God. I wasn't ready for this question. I really enjoyed this fall day we had today. Oh, wait. Am I supposed to talk about current fall things?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, this will come out soon. But yeah, it was just so crispy outside. And like, I hate to lean into my 40s, but man, there's some beautiful leaf colors out right now.
I think you're getting to like fall more than you used to.
Erin, I'm a summer boy, and
Okay.
It was my third favorite season.
So your second to last least favorite? Wait,
I'm gonna say it's my third favorite.
your second least
Positive
favorite.
spin I'm gonna put on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yes, summer first and foremost. Swimming, heat, it's amazing, fun, traveling.
Do you
It
feel
also I probably, because I don't typically work in the summer, it's like,
yeah.
and then spring, I'm such a plant boy these days. Like, I love watching things emerge and flowers and food growing and things like that.
Do you feel like there's, because you're a summer person, that there is something nice about fall that's almost like a break? It's like so much is happening all summer, and then it's like you can rest for a while.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like falls are busy as well.
Yeah.
Usually because of like getting school started again and all that.
Yeah, that's true.
But there are some nice splashes of color as all the nice weather dies.
It's been really sunny and nice for the most part.
We've had some pretty ripping pumpkin patches this year. Did our first legit corn maze.
Mm-hmm.
A maze.
Yeah, shout out to my hilarious grandma. My grandma, we were talking about doing corn mazes, and she was like, I got lost in maze once. We were like, wait, was it a corn maze? Or wait, was it a maze? She was like, no, just a cornfield, but I call them maze because it's maze. Like, anyways, she's always funny.
Yeah.
Has the best jokes.
Yeah, she's one of those very funny people who's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
What was that thing where she was concerned about birds flying too high in the sky? She was like, I just don't think birds normally fly that high.
I don't remember that. I always tease her about one story that we went and saw Jack Kerouac's grave in his hometown when I was a teenager. I dragged my grandparents to Lowell, Massachusetts to go to his grave.
Because you guys were on a trip on the East
Yes,
Coast.
we were on a trip.
You were like, oh, Jack Kerouac's grave is only 50 miles from here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was, deep in that phase. And so we did that. We met people at the diner that knew him and did the whole thing in Lowell. But then years later when Kurt Vonnegut died, my grandma was like, was that the grave we went to when we were on the East Coast? We were like, yep, that person was already dead then when we were there.
Whose body did you think was in there? She was like a placeholder body. Totally not.
Yeah. She's the best and hilarious.
She is the best.
I've been drinking Shilajit in the mornings.
Gesundheit? Sorry, call back.
It's like a mineral from the inside of rocks. But it's take just this like little tiny bit and put it in hot water in the morning, and it's just supposed to have a lot of good minerals in it. But I enjoy it. I look forward to it every morning.
All right. Do you feel like it's helping with things, or
I mean, who knows?
I think it's just an inexpensive placebo?
Apparently, it has a lot of minerals that are really good for you. So I'm sure it's doing something good.
I was just listening to a podcast tonight about, or that somebody mentioned Shailene Woodley.
Mm-hmm.
Is that her name?
Woodley.
That she eats clay or something like that. Like she literally eats dirt.
Maybe that's similar.
Is it similar?
I mean, that makes, yeah, because, you know, if you, like on your vegetables, you get a lot of minerals and things from the dirt that they grow in. If you're eating like fresh grown veggies, that's good for you. And kids eating dirt is
Disgusting.
like helps build their immune system. And I think has a lot of minerals, and I don't know that. Yeah.
So this is topical because my father and stepmother just visited, and they brought vegetables from my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, they came earlier than I thought, so I didn't have time to scrub all the potatoes, so they're covered in dirt. Does this mean we should be eating the dirt-covered potatoes or scrubbing them?
I want to know what kind of dirt Shailene Woodley eats. There's like heavy metals in some dirt that are not good for you. Like if you're the source of the dirt, I think matters. And
Not all dirt is created equal.
yeah.
Should I make mashed potatoes without cleaning these potatoes?
Yeah, I think you should just mash the whole potato with like the dirt in them.
All right.
Yeah. She said she eats dirt.
Shailene Woodley?
Yeah.
At least this was
Woodley.
Woodley.
I don't think there's an S.
Somebody on a podcast I was listening to said that Shailene Woodley eats clay or something like that.
I feel like that's probably like some supplement that she gets that's like,
Right. It's probably similar to Shilajit.
yeah.
Shilajit Woodley.
She has a few new movies out that I want to see. Movies and shows.
I feel like I haven't really seen her since Big Little Lies. I loved her in that.
Yeah, there's something new she just came out in. It's like called 3 Women.
What was that thing we watched recently with Natasha Lyonne? What was the name of that?
His Daughters,
Oh,
I think.
not 3 Women,
No.
even though that's what it was about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, another surprising one, kind of like the Monster Show.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen, Natasha Lyonne, and
another lady.
yeah, forget her name.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen her in other things.
Well, should we get started?
We're already started, Erin. Yeah, well, thank you for joining me at the kitchen/dining room table tonight. For anybody who doesn't know, this show is all about us bringing topics to the other person to explain to them about something they might not know too much about, something that's on the intersection of our lives. I think we usually do a rock, paper, scissors game to decide who's going to be the decider. And we're going boom, boom, shoot. Best 2 out of 3.
Yep.
You ready?
Ready.
Rock, rock. We got something to it. I forgot to.
Rock, rock.
Rock, rock. Oh, my paper covers Erin's rock. Oh, my rock smashes Erin's scissors. And she looked embarrassed about it.
Humiliated.
I'm going to let you go first tonight.
Okay. In the spirit of this podcast, I thought of a random topic, but it's a little bit connected to my work.
Did you go to Google and hit that I'm feeling lucky button?
And pick the top.
That'd be fun. We should do that for an episode where we both hit that.
My topic is both about like emergency preparedness and earthquakes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Because we're due for the big one here in the Northwest, right?
Yeah, the Cascadia subduction earthquake. We are due, but it also could come quite a bit later. So there have been, what they estimate is there's been 13 of these earthquake events. So Cascadia subduction is one of our fault lines. It's out off the coastline.
Well, so it's in the ocean.
Yeah, like 100 miles off the coastline.
Is it the same fault line that runs through the Bay Area?
It is a 600-mile fault line.
Is the Bay Area more than 600 miles away?
The Bay Area is more than 600 miles away, and that's a different fault line. But this fault line does go down into Northern California.
Oh, really? It's not the same one that runs through Northern California and the Bay Area?
Do you want me to?
I'm sorry. I'm please explain to me. I'll stop.
Okay. There's lots of fault lines. No, I forget the name of the big one in San Francisco, but the Cascadia subduction zone is so long that it does impact a lot of the West Coast, but it doesn't go as far down as the Bay Area, I don't think.
Okay.
But there's a fault line that goes like through the city, through San Francisco, I think.
Right. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an airport.
Oh, the San Andreas fault?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a fault line in the Portland Hills.
Oh.
We have a fault line. Like, there's multiple fault lines, but the Cascadia is a subduction zone, which is where the two tectonic plates meet. One is going beneath the other into the mantle. The earthquakes that come from it are around 9 in magnitude, so big, earthquakes. The last one was was January 26th, 1700.
Gee.
On average, they happen between every 300 and 900 years, with an average of 580 years between them.
Wait, I'm doing so much math.
Right now. So that means that...
So like 1,700 plus the average of 580.
So right now it's been 324 years.
Okay.
And they happen between 300 and 900 years between each one. There's been like 13 of these events.
That's actually better stats than I've heard before.
Yeah.
I feel like some people are like, oh yeah, they happen every 150 years and it's been 300 years since we've had one. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That means we're definitely due.
Yeah, I mean, the short story is it could happen anytime, and maybe it won't happen for another 100, 200 years.
Right.
Yeah.
We're in the zone where it might make sense.
Yeah.
But are we on the plate that's riding on top of that Pacific one, or is Pacific like smashing us down? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I don't know.
Are we subducting or abducting?
I did find a picture of it. So the one that happened in 1700 caused a tsunami that hit the West Coast and Japan.
Wow.
Poles? Yeah.
Oof.
So I don't know if that... Yeah, I'm not sure. And the type of earthquake that happens when this happens is called a mega thrust. So now
I'm listening to a scientific conversation.
Now I want to look up what these different types are.
Yeah, just Google mega thrust real quick and see what happens.
Yeah. So with that in mind, in my job, there is a lot of preparedness work that goes on. And so some of the tips around getting prepared are helpful, regardless if it's this earthquake or if it's, another major emergency.
A different natural disaster.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that like only because Cascadia is going to happen that people should be getting prepared, but it helps drive some of the need to get really prepared for a big event, because this would be like bridges collapse. It would be like communication systems are down, like cell phones, like water, water lines.
So if this big mega thrust were to happen, Erin, what are you smiling about? If the mega thrust happens, like how long do we have to survive without services and things?
So the recommendation is to be at least ready for 2 weeks for individual, like family preparedness. Enough water, food, and critical supplies for 2 weeks without help. Hopefully after 2 weeks, we'll at least be like supplies and services and things that you can access.
And how many movies does the government recommend you have downloaded on a hard drive so you don't need internet to be entertained during this time?
Probably like 30 movies at least.
30?
Yeah.
For 2 weeks? All right. Gosh, we're doing 2 a day? Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. You need 1 gallon of water per person per day.
That's like cleaning yourself,
Yes,
flushing
it's-
your poop.
Yeah, that's hygiene, drinking, washing your hands, everything. People use much more than that in a day. But for like to have enough in this type of situation, that's what they recommend being prepared for. So if you have a family of 4,
I do.
14 times 4.
14. We're 2 weeks.
Yeah. So 56 gallons of water.
Check that out. Glad you did that math, not me.
Oh yeah, 7s are my favorite.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. And I am not someone that like memorize my multiplication tables like in the way you're supposed to.
Like, how are you supposed to?
I feel like when I was like in 5th grade, it was like everyone needs to memorize them. And you just have to have them memorized.
Okay. Are you saying that
I have more like in my brain visually, like I can get there.
I think that's better, probably.
Yeah. But 7s always stuck with me. And like it felt easier to do 7s.
And we started asking people, like, forget your astrological sign. What's your favorite multiples to count by?
Like 8s are harder for me to like go fast. Like I have to like wrap my brain around it a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can do it. I can obviously go up like 4 or 5 in 8s, but then I would start slowing down.
how far can you count with 8s? I'm concerned.
8, 16, 24, 32,
You don't have to
40,
do it.
48, 56. Right? I feel like I'm off already somewhere. I was going too fast.
I like 11s.
Well, that's, yeah. I like 9s where you can do that finger trick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Our emergency preparedness coordinator talks about pantry preparedness for food. So people, you can go out and buy all the emergency food and spend a bunch of money on like all
like
that.
all those weird kits where it's like dehydrated.
Yeah. And there's good ones these days, like backpackery food that's like tasty. But if you don't want to take that approach, you can have a really well-stocked pantry all the time and have the food that you actually eat normally, which in a situation like that with like, it will be stressful, and having the things that your family already eats normally.
A little comfort food.
Yeah.
And apocalypse.
Exactly. And so like every time you go to Costco or go to the grocery store, like overstocking a little bit, but then if you have 10 cans of beans, you buy 5 cans of beans and then use.
Okay, we're doing multiples again. 5s are my favorite.
Oh yeah, those are easy.
There's so many that are easy. I feel like 7s is a wild choice because it's not easy.
6s and 8s feel hard to me sometimes.
So the evens. Weird.
Yeah.
What 4s?
No, that's very easy. Yeah. So yeah, pantry preparedness, always keeping your gas tank half full or more, treating your gas tank as when it's half full as empty.
I mean, I always think of it as half full, not half empty.
You're such an optimistic guy.
Shit, my gas tank is half full.
But as soon as it gets to half full, pretending it's empty.
Right.
Yeah. Fill it up. Fill her up.
I always feel like if you were in charge of making cars for the next generation,
Me?
you should make yes, you, Erin. The gas meter be like a lie. Like by the time it gets to empty, there's actually 6 more gallons in there just so you can keep people prepped.
Yeah. Great idea. Pet supplies and having a pet evacuation bag.
Pet evacuation bag?
If you have to evacuate quickly, having a bag for your pet too. Like
Putting your pet in the bag?
no, like
Like those dogs on the subway?
like pet food and
Oh.
whatever, a leash, whatever they need. Not just the evacuation, but like prepping for an earthquake for 2 weeks for your pet also. So not
And it would be a bummer if you were just out of dog food right when this hit.
That's why you should do the thing where like half a bag you
Should have an extra bag in the attic.
but if you put it in the attic, then it goes bad over time. But if
Right,
you're
we gotta
always
rotate it.
but if you just when it's half full, get the new bag.
Sounds complicated. Okay, how about we buy 3 bags of dog food every time, and then put one in the back, and then we always use the front one. And that way there will always be at least 2 bags of dog food.
Also, all my preparedness nerd friends say if you're a camper, you're already way more prepared than you would
Because we have,
think.
like propane and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You have the supplies to camp, which is basically what you'll be doing. And if you have a grill,
I do.
that will help.
I got hella damage this eve. Listeners don't know.
Editing that out.
I got Y equals MX plus B across my incisors and canines.
Prescription medications. Thinking about that.
I already hoard those.
Yeah. Cash in small bills. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just having like, $100 or something in small bills.
There's not a lot. Guess you're doing pretty well these days. So 100 ones, is that what you're saying?
I think 1s and 5s. Because ATMs will be down.
And you can't use debit cards.
Yeah.
Probably. What about like gold doubloons or what's the barter system when
Who knows what we have? Like, if it's significant enough, who knows if there will even be people to take your money? I mean, not that they'll all be dead, but they might not be at the place,
Right, the 7-Eleven worker might be at their house taking care of their kids.
Exactly.
Not selling you Mountain Dew.
I still think small bills, I mean, not me, but I've been told that having small bills is a good idea.
Okay.
So water, pantry preparedness, first aid kit, cash and small bills, prescription meds, gas in your car, pet supplies, camping supplies or a grill.
A grill.
Yeah.
Not just my teeth, but the one outside.
And a toilet system, having a couple buckets that you can use. And they sell like toilet seats you can put on them.
Cool.
It's called the 2-bucket system.
I've heard of it because I'm a teacher and we have earthquake evacuation drills. And I've heard we're supposed to have 2 buckets, but at my school we only have 1.
Yeah, that doesn't work well. So I'm part of the Emergency Operations Center as part of my job, the EOC.
I was going to say the EOC.
Yeah, which I won't talk too much about, but I just had an exercise recently where it was as if it were day 4 of a Cascadia earthquake event. And we were practicing as if it were day 4, and we had a whole day-long event. And it was really interesting just being, in a room with everyone in their vests and the planning section and logistics and communications and our community. I'm part of the community service branch. Yeah. But it was kind of like that Parks and Rec episode.
I love that where they're simulating like an epidemic, like a bird flu or something.
Yeah, I think so.
And she's purposely trying to tank it because she wants to get out of there quicker.
So it wasn't exactly like that, but
You didn't try to tank yours.
it went well. It is interesting just seeing everyone practice. And we even had a call with community partners, pretending we were doing the actual call. So they were prepared for having a call to coordinate and get the status updates and get information from us. So we facilitated like a call with all the partners.
Well, I, for one, feel safer that you guys are on it and have a plan and are practicing this. Yeah, what are like the other tips for all our listeners? Like, the second it happens, are you supposed to like turn on your bathtub and like fill it up with water? And you're supposed to rip up a bunch of sheets and boil water and bury money in a jar in the backyard.
You should definitely get one of like the shake alerts, or they're called different things in different states.
Like a shake weight?
If you Google like shake alert or like earthquake early warning system and your state name, it will alert you with at least many seconds up to like a couple minutes before it hits. The systems are basically alerting you that the earthquake's already started, but it would alert you before it's impacting you. But it at least can give you enough time to get, away from like a hazardous area or get under something, hold on, get in a safe spot.
Right. Get underneath something, protect your head and neck. If you can't, get underneath something, get close to a wall, not a window.
And hold on if you can.
Right. Have 2 buckets, one for pee, one for poop.
I have heard that bathtub thing. I feel like I would want to do that probably after the shaking ended to see if you could.
Just to like have a relaxing bath.
Fill the bath and just have that extra water. But it's probably smarter just to store a lot of extra water in your house.
Well, we have those cans of 50-year water that I've hauled up into the attic, which is like an amazing core strength exercise to take these flats of cans of 50-year water and slowly walk them up on like these vertical stairs into the attic.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's all about health all around. Like keeping that core strong.
Comprehensive approach. Yeah, we have cans of 50-year water that will stay good for 50 years. Recommend that. I think it can be overwhelming to get prepared for something like this. So just a lot of like recommendations, like each month pick a topic and focus on that. Like focus on your plan for your pets one month, and the next month focus on like your house evacuation plan and your kids knowing a meeting spot, or in the next month focus on water and food supplies.
I feel like the pantry thing is one of the most easily accessible things to like start that system of keeping more food in your pantry, like canned foods and pastas and things like that.
Yeah. And just rotating through so that things aren't going bad, but you always have that extra available.
Yeah. And like, if your gas and electricity are out, you can always boil water by making a pile of human skulls that you light on fire and just put like a little barbecue grate on top of it.
I just saw someone put 4 candles in cupcake tin or muffin tin and then boiled water over the candles, like with their pot on the muffin tin.
How long do you think that takes if you're putting a tea light in a muffin tin?
Or maybe it doesn't even work.
Yeah, I would like to see it in action.
I mean, maybe it would make warm water eventually.
Yeah, but like boiled pasta?
No. We should try it.
We're gonna become Mythbusters.
Yeah. Oh, we should be Instagram influencer Mythbusters.
Oh. Around earthquake preparedness. It's a very niche Instagram.
Okay, that's my topic. I'm trying to encourage people to think about their preparedness.
I think you're doing a great public service right now.
Yeah, my PSA.
Yeah. I think if there's like accessible tips you can give, like the pantry stuff, like we're going to influence a lot of people for sure. Well, now I know, Erin. All right, you ready for my topics?
So ready.
All right, so my topic that I brought tonight, you definitely have heard some of the things I'm going to talk about, but I feel like you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the meanings of and origins where these things come from. Tonight I'm going to talk about idioms.
Okay.
So the other day I heard the term soup to nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of my favorite idioms. I'm going to try to work it more in the conversation. So I think the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to talk about probably like 15 different idioms. And I know I've researched the origins of all these things. So I would like to hear you use each of these in a sentence and then tell me where you think it originated from and why. Okay, so we'll start with soup to nuts. Use it in a sentence, first of all.
I was so prepared for the earthquake. I was prepared soup to nuts.
I mean, that is what the CDC recommends, right? That you keep a lot of nuts and a lot of cans of soup.
Yeah.
And where do you think this idiom came from?
Is that the correct usage? Like,
No.
wait, you don't know what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I thought soup to nuts means like everything.
Yes, it does mean
That's
that.
how I was trying to use it.
Oh, sorry. Say it again.
That I was so prepared that I prepared soup to nuts.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying that you prepared soup and nuts.
I was so prepared. I prepared soup to nuts.
Yeah, I think soup to nuts definitely does mean everything from.
Yeah, it's like everything in the kitchen sink. Like,
Don't bring another idiom.
I'm
into
sorry.
this. Can't explain an idiom with an idiom. Yeah, like, like you've never been skydiving before or something. You're like, well, I don't know what to do. And somebody's like, don't worry, we'll do this course, like soup to nuts, 2 hours, you'll know everything.
right.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not good at using it. I want to get better at it.
Where I think it came from,
Yes.
well, it's like if you're like sitting in a restaurant and you have soup on the table, all the way down, like the soup on the table it's on, the chairs, the floors, the walls, the people, the
Sorry.
and the like nuts and whatever, like, in like the table or the furniture.
The nuts? Oh, like you're thinking like like nuts and bolts.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm thinking everything from like the soup all the way to like the furniture the soup's sitting on.
Oh. I was like, where do nuts come in? Like is the floor made of like walnut or?
I just picture like it's like a thing and like all the way down to like the materials that you make the thing with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, and that's a really good guess. Apparently, it refers to like a classic fancy dinner that it would start with a soup as your appetizer,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would go through all your courses and everything, and then nuts were how you ended the meal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a really like most of these originate from like really really old fashioned terms and things.
So you ask the nuts in the chair that you're sitting on to eat the soup.
Yeah, we're not sitting on nuts.
There's nuts in chairs sometimes.
Sure.
But are there not?
They're not nuts? It depends on the chair. Anyway, soup to nuts is our first idiom. The next one is turn a blind eye. So you know what this idiom means, right?
Ignore something.
Yeah. Do you want to guess where it came from? You probably will never guess.
Oh, well, it's a very obvious visual for me. Like, if I think about the idiom, it feels less idiomish to me because it's almost like I'm turning my head away and being blind to whatever's happening.
Right.
So-
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those where it makes so much sense when you think about it, but the actual story behind it doesn't make sense. So it came from this British general who was sailing towards this battle, and he was supposed to retreat if a certain flag was held up or something like that, but he really didn't want to retreat, but he was blind in one eye. So he was holding this telescope up to his blind eye, and so he legit couldn't see any flags. Was like, nope, I don't see a stop flag. We must forge on.
Oh, wow.
It seems crazy. Like, why wouldn't you just lie if you're
Yeah, that seems elaborate.
Yeah. I don't know if I trust that one. I don't know if I trust that one article. The next one is called Beat Around the Bush.
Yeah, like not being direct. Like, yeah, trying to say something without saying it directly.
Where do you think it comes from?
Well, I picture that the bush is the thing that you're trying to say, and you're like using your bat and flinging it around and not hitting the actual thing. You're just like beating all around it.
Yeah, you nailed it. I've known it's somewhere. I guess it came from in Britain when people would go on these bird hunts that they would
Mm-hmm.
beat these bushes to get the birds out of the bushes
Okay,
and
that's
then they
similar.
would shoot them. But that was the main event, was shooting the birds. So beating around the bush was like what you did before you did the main thing.
Okay.
Yep. Spill the beans.
Yeah, tell a secret. Tell someone something you're not supposed to.
Right. Correct.
Or just like telling something that you've been, I don't know. I guess it doesn't have to be a secret. It's like, maybe it does. I was thinking like if you're engaged or something and then you're like, we're engaged. It's not that you weren't supposed to tell it. It's like the first time you.
Right. It's not necessarily something that needs to be kept secret forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. More often than not, it's something that will come out, which is similar to the origin. Yeah.
Oh, spill the beans. I mean, I picture someone's mouth full of beans and them opening it and like the gossip pouring out like beans.
Like spilling the tea, like
Yeah.
out of your mouth with beans.
Yeah. It's like the vomiting emoji, but just beans pouring out of their mouth.
Oh, God.
I'm picturing like dry black beans, not like gross.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not like refried beans.
No.
Close. In ancient Greece, they would vote with beans, like in vases. And I checked 2 or 3 different websites, and they always said that the white beans were in favor of, and black or brown beans were voted against. But somebody would, accidentally spill the beans, and somebody could see how many beans there were. And so it was like letting people know how the vote went before they were.
I was picturing transparent containers, but these must have been opaque containers.
It must have been opaque or non-see-through.
Yeah.
Vases that were full of beans. Also, this is interesting because whenever I talk about the Pythagorean theorem with my students, is it interesting, Erin?
No, I just, with my students, was funny at the end because I thought this was just, whenever I talk about the Pythagorean theorem,
Just parties.
How often is that?
No, when I teach the Pythagorean theorem, I talk about the Pythagoreans, which was a group of people. It wasn't, there was one dude named Pythagoras, but he had a group of students called the Pythagoreans. And they had like long beards. They weren't allowed to shave, and they had these robes and things. And one of their rules is they weren't allowed to touch beans. And I always say that, and students always crack up. I'm like, yep, I don't know what that was about. Maybe it had like something to do with the voting.
Well, also that's funny because beans are used, I feel like, a lot in math education.
Bean counters.
Does it have to do with that?
No idea. That'll be my topic for next podcast.
Okay.
The Pythagorean. The proof is in the pudding.
Okay.
I feel like this one can be like TBH. I have never quite understood when people say this. Like, I feel like there's certain situations, like multiple situations where it applies to.
Yeah, it's funny. I understand it, but I've never had to like wrap my brain around it.
Right, when you would say it, like,
yeah, or like explain what it means. But
I've definitely never said it in my life.
me neither. But I think the definition is like the truth will come out in the thing that's happening, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think you're right.
like it will be uncovered when the event happens or when whatever the thing is occurs.
Again, Well, I'm not going to make you guess where it came from, but it comes from this old British saying that the proof of the pudding is in the eating, which basically means, first of all, they're talking about pudding that was not like our version of pudding. It was like a meat dish that they called pudding. They're all backwards over there. Sorry, I think we have a couple British listeners. Not right. We use different words for different things. But it basically it meant that you shouldn't judge something on how it looks, that you should taste it first.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a slightly different meaning.
But this was the one where I think there was like 3 different situations where you could use it where it's has slightly different meanings.
Yeah, I think that meaning is related. It's like, until it's actually happening, you don't know. Yeah.
Right. Like, is this really going to work? Well, I guess the proof will be in the pudding.
Yeah.
Butter them up.
Yeah. Get them happy.
That's what I always say. Where do you think it came from?
I mean, like, it feels like giving someone some butter to make them happy before whatever you need them to be happy for.
Apparently, this is a Hindu tradition of throwing butter at statues of certain gods that you're going to ask for their forgiveness.
Okay.
As like an offering. So you're buttering up those gods.
Interesting.
This one. Cat got your tongue.
Yeah, like you can't talk.
Yeah. You could have given me 500 guesses about this, and I probably wouldn't just come up with the 2 things I found for this. One of them is it refers to a cat of 9 tails, which is like a whip torture device. And it's basically that you beat someone so badly with the cat of 9 tails that they can't even communicate.
My God.
Right? That is so dark. So I always picture this as like this cute little saying you say to like...
Well, yeah, I picture like a cat like swatting at your tongue or your mouth.
Yeah.
Like...
Exactly.
You can't talk.
Little kitty paw in your mouth. Oh, you can't talk right now. That's adorable.
It's very weird.
Yeah. But I always feel like this phrase gets said to children a lot, and it's the meaning is so much darker. The other meaning I found for it is it might have been in ancient Egypt where they would cut out the tongues of criminals and feed them to cats. Which is funny that is the slightly less dark version.
Yeah. It also feels like more of what I would have guessed. Or, like the other definition really would never have crossed my mind.
Right, the cat of 9 tails?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, there's another cat one. Let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, yeah. Tell a secret.
It is. Yeah. Or similar to spill the beans.
Yeah. That's funny. That's why I paused. I was like, how is it different than spill the beans? But then I was like, is it less secrets and it's more like anything? Like, it doesn't even have to be something you're saying. What do I mean? Get out of the bag. I'm wondering if it has to be like actually talking versus like...
No, I think it could be a concept like, oh, I was planning a Hawaiian vacation for us and you found the tickets. The cat's out of the bag now, honey.
Yeah, like the tickets are the object that are out of the bag.
They were the cat that came out of my bag. Yeah. This came from in the 1700s. Pigs in bags at the market, and they were valuable, and cats were not, because cats were everywhere, but people would try to trick people by putting cats in bags and try to sell them as pigs. But if somebody opened the bag, the cat was out of the bag.
Oh. Interesting. I liked when I was guessing where these came from.
Oh, well, keep going with that. I got lots. Okay. Do you want me to give them all to you, or do you can choose one?
Sure.
Okay. Of my remaining idioms, we have skeletons in the closet, red herring, break the ice, mad as a hatter, cold shoulder, cost an arm and a leg, or bottoms up.
Okay, I want to do them all.
You want to do them all? Okay. You want to start with red herring.
So that's like a false. Wait, is it? It's like false. It's something that isn't actually the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a false something that isn't actually the thing.
Yeah. And I picture like an ocean and there's like a bird, but it's a distraction from what you're actually like supposed to be looking at.
Wait, the bird is a distraction?
Yeah.
The herring is.
The herring.
So we're supposed to be looking at the bird?
Let me start over. Yeah, I don't know where this one came from.
Oh, there's no way you would guess it.
Yeah.
17th century hunters used to train their dogs to follow a certain scent. They were
Mhm.
trying to train them to track certain things, but they would put herrings, literal fish, in parts of trees.
Were they red?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
But they would put fish in these trees to try to distract them because it was like a strong smell, but they had to learn to ignore that smell because it was a red herring.
Mm-hmm. So I know that herrings are fish. I do.
That's half for battle.
Yeah. But I think the term red herring, somewhere in my subconscious, my image is a bird.
Oh.
But I think it's because of
Are
the
you thinking of herons?
maybe. But I don't even think I've ever like processed that or thought that. But I just like picture a red bird when I hear that saying.
Okay. On to the next one. Skeletons in the closet.
All your secrets.
Mm-hmm.
This one's fun because I feel like it's like your family's secrets. It's not like one secret. It's like maybe it could be, but I feel like it could be more like all of your family's like secrets and things that people don't know. Like they have a lot of skeletons in the closet. Yeah, referring to a family's history.
Where do you think it comes from?
Like your family killed people and their bodies are in the closet.
You think this is from a literal, like,
I mean, maybe.
family that are murderers?
I mean, I can see that happening, and then it became like a saying because of one murderous family.
No, I see.
Yeah, I don't think this is like how it's not like an ongoing thing that happened.
It's that typical. Sometimes families murder and put the skeletons in the closet. You're close. So before 1832, grave robbers would rob graves and sell skeletons to medical schools to use as examples for human bodies and things like that. But this was illegal. You weren't supposed to do it. So police would sometimes come and raid these medical schools. So they would have to put all the skeletons in the closets because they were illegal whenever police were around.
Interesting.
I'm not sure why police were like, let's go check out the medical schools. Like, probably some illegal shit going on down there.
We need to get our skeletons out of the front yard.
Oh, God. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
I've always seen people that keep Halloween decorations up too long, and I can't believe that I'm one of them now. We've actually started decorating for Halloween.
Yeah.
Continuing. Break the ice.
Yeah, do something to get the first conversation going. Like start the discussion or like get things going when there's like that awkward beginning.
Where do you think it came from?
Well, if everything's kind of like stiff and frozen, you're breaking the ice and warming things up.
That's pretty close. So back when like roads weren't developed, like most goods were shipped via ship, like sailing ship, and local places would send out a ship to like in the cold weather to break up ice so the trading ships could get through to the towns, and it was like seen as a sign of like a good nature friendship thing,
Oh, okay.
like breaking the ice so everybody can get through.
And now we have like icebreakers and meetings.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are the ships breaking the ice for others. Let me see. I got 4 left. Mad as a hatter, cold shoulder, crossed an arm and a leg, and bottoms up. Which
Okay.
one do you want to do?
Mad as a hatter.
What do you think it means?
That you're really mad. I've never heard this idiom, but I'm assuming it comes from Alice in Wonderland.
Right. That's the main thing I saw is that it appeared in Alice in Wonderland as the Mad Hatter, but it actually comes from way before that book was written.
Oh, and it's probably not mad like that. It's probably like crazy.
Well, I think that's how Alice in Wonderland used it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Right.
Oh, so Alice in Wonderland used this because it was already
a phrase. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Tell me more.
So I guess in the 17th and 18th century in France, hat makers used to use this certain type of felt that had mercury in it, and they would get mercury poisoning. And mercury poisoning would make them like super shy and irritable and have like body tremors and stuff that made them appear like quote unquote mad. So it was like the Mad Hatter's disease.
Oh, wow.
And just being fully poisoned by mercury all the time.
My God.
That's awful. That's what you get for being a French haberdasher.
A hat dasher.
Hat dasher. A French hat dasher. Cold shoulder.
Yeah, like being cold to someone, turning your cold shoulder, like ignoring them or being rude.
True that. Where do you think it came from?
I just picture like someone literally like turning their shoulder away from someone in like a cold way.
That's the way I've always pictured it too. It's like
Yeah.
you're showing your shoulder and it's cold for some reason.
Or that you're being cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like you're being cold and turning away.
Mm-hmm.
No. Apparently it came from 1800s dinner parties where it was a signal that you wanted people to leave the party. So you would serve a cold piece of meat to them, like not a warm one. And that was the signal that the party was over and you wanted people to vacate.
It seems like beating around the bush.
Can't explain the idiom with an idiom. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Yeah, it seems very weird. Why not just be like, all right,
Yeah.
it's over now. Instead, you're like, here's some pork shoulder. And you're like, oh, this is terribly, like, why is this warmed up?
Well, yeah, it's funny that it's so like direct in that way, but you couldn't just be direct
Yeah.
and say leave.
Cost an arm and a leg.
Super expensive. So expensive that it's pretty much like you have to sell your body for it. I don't know where it came from.
There was some theories about this one, a couple different ones, but one of them is it originated from portrait paintings. That most portrait paintings were like shoulders and up, and it cost more to get more of your body. So arms and legs would be like a very expensive painting of
Portrait.
yourself.
Mm-hmm. Not just a bust.
A bust. I also read something that said that arms and legs cost more. So sometimes the portrait painter would give a discount if one arm or leg was hidden behind the body and only one was showing. With them, why that doesn't make any sense. Like if you're just painting one arm, like
I mean, it's twice as much work if you have to do two.
I guess, but like if you're not good at painting arms and legs, like.
Just the time to do it, though, even if you're good at it.
It's true. All right, this last one is wild. Bottoms up.
It's like what you say when you're drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's also like some kind of connotation about like, good luck. We'll see how this goes. Is that not true? I picture you like
break a leg.
No, I'm picturing like you're setting off on a ship and you're like, bottoms up.
No, I've never heard that. Bon voyage?
No, the start of something that it's like, well, all right, let's see. No, I know it's when you drink, but I feel like there's like a second layer to it. It's almost like, and it's relevant to the drinking. It's like the beginning of a crazy night. Is it just related to drinking?
Yes.
It's not anything to do with the beginning of a crazy night. We'll see how this goes.
No. It's not because of the movie The Hangover.
Okay.
Do you want to know what it's all about? It doesn't have to do with people getting drunk and drinking. So in the 18th and 19th centuries, the English Navy recruiters would have that to get people to sign on to be in the English Navy. The people would have to accept a king's shilling, like this coin, to say they were going to go into the army, the Navy, whatever. But they started using this cheap tactic where they would put these coins in people's beers that were drunk. Like they would go to bars with people that were wasted. They would drop a coin in their beer, and then when they drank it into their mouth, that counted as them accepting the king's shilling.
Oh.
And they would drag them off the next morning and put them on a ship to be in the Navy.
Wait, a ship? I said that.
You did say
The beginning of a journey on a ship.
You did say that. Okay, my bad. Never mind. No explanation needed. You nailed it from the beginning. So, British bartenders started to serve beer in glasses that had a glass bottom. So, the bottoms up thing was that you would look it into the bottom of your beer before you drank to see if there was a king's shilling in it. Because if you put a coin in your mouth, you were automatically enrolled in the British Navy.
My God.
That's crazy.
Is that true?
According to the one article I read yet.
It's a historical fact.
Which I think there was at least 2 articles. Although one article I found literally just copy and pasted the text from another article. That's legit. Also, shout out to our lawyer friend who's also an idiom fan. I wish I had consulted her on her favorite idioms.
Wait, what's our idiom history? Why is it?
Yeah, we definitely have had times where we've talked about idioms.
I'm trying to remember why. I feel like there was something that came up around idioms. I'll have to ask. Let's bring her on to talk about idioms.
Oh, yeah, fun. Also, we should get our Colombian friends on via Zoom. They can try to decode some of, although they have taught us some Colombian idioms.
Mm-hmm.
Like she thinks she's the last Coke in the desert.
Oh, yeah. It was so funny when we taught them like lollygag and like someone being basic.
And gnarly.
Yeah, I remember they like saw a woman like standing on the corner and they're like, look at that like basic woman lollygagging.
What a basic lollygagger. Oh, it's funny thing. How basic is already kind of gone.
Yeah.
It's been replaced by mid. Have to get back to our teen slang episode.
Thanks for the idiom quiz.
Yeah, thank you. Now I know about earthquake preparedness.
Yeah. All right, should we wrap up?
Yeah. All right, Erin. Love you.
Good night.
Good
Love
night.
you.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you next time.
Have you ever transcended space and time?
Yes. No. Time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.